In this poem, the speaker has addressed his mistress, his shy mistress, and has pointed out that her coyness, her shyness would have been all right, it would have been fine if they had enough time and space. Had we but world enough and time. In his imagination, the speaker is wandering through unlimited time and space, and this is how he realizes that in actual world, in real life, time is disappearing fast. There is no unlimited time. So he must squeeze his joy along with his lover into today itself. Okay, the joys, all the joys of the world has to be squeezed to today itself. And the lady love should confess her love as soon as possible. In the first stanza, the speaker begins by constructing a thorough conceit of the many things that he would do for his beloved if there was enough time and space. The speaker suggests impossible stretches of time where he is trying to make his mistress believe that they would play several games of courtship and the lady would be allowed to reject his advances as many times as she wanted. So he basically claims that he would love her from 10 years before the biblical flood narrated in the book of Genesis, while the lady could refuse his advances until the conversion of the Jews. The speaker then uses the term vegetable love to suggest a slow and steady growth, which would, spread in vast proportions, and that would ultimately allow the speaker appreciate to praise the features of his lady love, like her eyes, her forehead, her heart, everything. The speaker also assures his lady that in this ideal world where time would be unlimited, he would have never undervalued her, or he would have never valued her at a lower rate than she actually deserves. In the second stanza, the speaker asserts that time's winged chariot is always near. I always hear time's winged chariot hurrying near. The speaker's language changes from an acknowledgement of the lady's limitless virtue to insisting on the radical limitations of their time. Okay, so we see a change in the tone, a change in the idea of the poem from the first to the second stanza. Now here the speaker is saying, once dead, he's saying this to the lady, that the lady, all her virtues, all her beauty will lie in the grave. Once she's dead, once the time is over, all her beauty, her goodness will lie in the grave along with her body, and it will turn into dust, obviously. And likewise, the speaker imagines his lust, which will gradually turn into ashes. And likewise, lovers' chance to confess their love for each other will be lost forever. In the last stanza, Andrew Marvell has actually displayed his poetic prowess and he attempts to win over the lady. Now he is in an urgency. The poet compares the skin of the lady to the fresh morning dew, which he feels is animated by the fires of her soul. And now he has completely accepted the fact that time will ultimately devour everything. And the speaker acknowledges this. But nonetheless, he is ready to stand stiff against the, ravages of time. And he asserts that the two of them can, in fact, turn the tables. The two lovers can turn this situation. They can become amorous birds of prey that actively consume the time by lovemaking. So he also wants the same in the case of himself and his lover. He wants them to be passionately involved with his lover. Whatever time he has, he wants his lady and himself to be together, to enjoy the company of each other, and in loving one another with complete passion, they can defeat time. So you see how in the beginning, the poet who was very compassionate, by the end of the poem, he becomes so anxious. He wants to make the most of his time. Now, we all know that Andrew Marvell was a great poet, but what is more remarkable about him is that he had a very organized sensibility. Like Milton, he was a Puritan, but he did not hesitate to, cross that line and talk about passionate love. This poem is so loved by the literature students, mostly because Marvel has completely let himself go in this poem.